Hello, cozy detectives, and welcome to the Blanket Fort Files. I'm Larissa,
And I'm Joy.
and we're here to report on all things comfy and cozy. Woohoo!
I'm a little
Uh,
sniffly, but it's
yeah,
okay. Thank you for pushing
I
us
know.
back today.
Oh, you're good. It's so funny, like, not funny, but we, I started the year off sick, and now it's your turn. So hopefully March will both be golden.
Yeah, leave us alone. Leave Brittany alone.
Oh,
I know. I feel like I'm winning, but I feel like what it started doing my throat. My throat feels
it's
okay.
always the first sign. That's good.
I know. But I feel like what it did, because it got mad at me because it couldn't like have my throat be an issue, it just like all went to my sinuses. And so I feel like really stuffy.
Oh, yeah, that like
It's
pressure.
Yeah, I keep doing I don't know if this is good or not. But I kept getting suggested on Instagram the like 50 jumps at the beginning of the day or whatever because it's supposed to like help like move all your lymphatic
Uh,
whatevers. I s-
50 jumps?
yeah, you just jump up and down. And I
I
was like,
cannot.
whatever.
I don't have energy for that, especially first thing in the morning. Are you kidding me? I'm like,
It's supposed
I
to help with it. We'll
it's just
see.
a win if I even like stand up while I brush my teeth.
I mean,
Sometimes
honestly,
I'm
facts.
sitting.
Honestly, facts. But I have been trying to do that because I do feel like it like moves stuff. But then it started to give me a headache today from
Yeah, I was
jumping.
gonna say that I
So I
always
was like,
have
I
such
don't
a
know.
bad I always have such a bad pressure headache when I'm sick. So
Yeah.
the idea of jumping first thing in the morning when you're healthy sounds awful, but then when you're sick, I'm like, I could not think of anything worse.
I know. I am trying it. We'll see. I don't know. I did it yesterday. I did it today. I do think it helps move lymphatic stuff, but it's also
Mhm.
just like, oh, it's not particularly
See,
fun.
I'd rather do one of the, like,
Oh,
a
like the
massage
massage
lift.
things?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I do
That
that
sounds way
too.
more relaxing, way more cozy, if you know what
I
I mean.
know. I do think the other thing that's happening to me though is that the weather here is starting to do that like crazy fluctuation where it's like
Yeah,
it
same
was like
here.
60 something today and tomorrow's gonna be like 40 something. So like my head also gets a little headachy with that. So
Yeah, I
maybe
get
that's just
that.
like I keep like I feel like I'm like blocking the mic with my hands. Sorry, Ghost Detectives. Um, I just feel like yeah, that's gonna give me a headache. And plus also I did not eat dinner yet. So if I'm quiet during your case file, Larissa's
I was
nice and
like
she's like, you can eat.
I know, I was like, "We're audio, so, like, just mute yourself while I'm chatting about my case file, have your dinner."
Yeah.
Um,
What's
yeah,
been the
it's
haps though? What has been up with you? Drink my kombucha too. I don't know if that's good or not, but I'm
ooh.
like probiotics. I don't know. I don't know. I'm
I
guessing.
I was gonna say before I segue into what I've been up to this week, I feel like I'm gonna wake up first thing in the morning tomorrow and be like, "Joy's jumping."
Yeah, I'm jumping. Yeah, I'm
Except
somewhere
I wake
jumping
up way
50
earlier
times.
than you do, so I'll be at
Yeah.
work and I'll be like, I wonder if Joy's done her jumps today." I'll have to text you to see.
Yep. Yep.
Jump to Joy.
I'll
It's like
keep
that
trying.
acronym when you have to, like, learn everyone's name and they like, "Pick a adjective." Was that hard for you with the J?
I don't know if I've ever done that.
Oh, I feel
Like
like
it's
it
like an
was such a
icebreaker?
yeah, I feel like it was super big in college where you had to, like, get to know people's names, and so
Oh
and
gosh.
I never make people do this because I always just I'm like, "Okay, it's been there, done that," but you would have to pick an adjective that starts with the same letter as your first name. So, like, for J's, a lot of people would say joyful, but I don't know if you would wanna
Yeah,
say
yeah.
joyful joy.
I know, right?
Yeah,
I guess
so,
jumping is a good one. What did you
yeah.
do for L? What was
I
your
usually
go-to?
did lovely.
Aw. That's
Yeah,
cute. I feel like my
and
college
that's
was like, whatever. You'll get to know each
yeah.
other if you get to know each other.
Exactly. Well, and then it's like, okay, what if you have a name with, I don't know,
Yeah,
X?
your name that's exactly the letter I was thinking of. I was
Yeah.
like Xenon, which is a Z, but whatever. It could be with an X.
Like, I went to Xenon.
It's a silent
That's so
X.
on brand. It's so on brand. Um, but I this week, obviously, I guess not obviously if you didn't listen to us in the summer of 24, but if you did, you'll probably know that I've been watching Olympics like basically nonstop.
Are you loving
So
it?
I've been very happy. Just shout out they don't sponsor us, but I wish they would. Shout out to Peacock for the Gold
Mm.
Zone with having 4 sports going on at the same time. Like my little ADHD brain, I'm like, wow, 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 wow.
Are you loving it? Are you, like, in it all the time? You have a little
Yeah,
sports bar going at your house, but it's just
yeah,
Olympics.
exactly. And it's like literally the only time I ever get into sports. Otherwise, I could not be bothered. But there's something about the Olympics where I'm just like locked in. I This is like the first year I've really understood curling, kind of.
Curling's
So
so
I've been
intense.
Yeah, so I've been watching a lot of curling, and I'm like, wow, look at them sweep. I don't know. That's not even the technical term, but I'm just like, oh, I'm so in it.
Oh, I love it, I love it.
Yeah.
What else have you been up to?
Um, this past weekend when I was like, "Okay, I need to stop sitting in front of the TV watching the Olympics." So, my sister and I, and we'll have to post a picture because it's visual and we're still audio only right now, but I can show Joy right now.
Y'all.
I made these little, like, Valentine
Cute.
cards.
Oh my god, I love it.
Oh,
That's so
yeah,
cool.
yeah,
Like
I
magazine
used
cutouts?
yeah, and then some of the old Les Petites I got last year,
Oh,
and then
that's
just, like,
exactly the
scrap
vibe I was thinking.
yeah,
Yeah,
and then some
100%.
scrapbook paper. So,
Love it.
yeah, one more.
Ooh, those are so
Yeah,
cool.
it was like a fun little cozy craft project. So, we'll have to share some photos, but
Yeah, I love it.
yeah.
Are you sending them out? Or are you hanging them up? Or what's the
Yeah,
plan?
I think I may give some to friends and hang some up, but yeah, it was just little cozy vibes when I was like, "Okay, I can't look at a screen anymore."
Yeah, that happened to me this weekend. I think I was just scrolling too much because I don't know. I just had like one. I think it's because I was feeling sicky, and I was just like, ugh,
But
I'm just gonna
sometimes
have like a sit day, you know?
yeah, sometimes I like not I don't like being sick, but it's like, okay, I allow myself to scroll more, but then I'm like, I end up
Yeah,
feeling worse.
yeah. Like I think my eyes like legitimately started hurting. I was like, ugh.
Oh,
Like
yeah.
rarely does that happen, but that was like a nearly like a full day just looking at a tiny screen, and I'm like, it's also tiny, so I'm like. I can't be good either. It's like so close. Remember, like when it was like so
Yeah.
close to the TV, and now I'm just like holding this thing like inches from my eyes. I'm just
Yeah,
like, oh, I don't know,
I
but
know. Any other, like, non-sick related updates you wanna share?
honestly, my 2% was the thing that I did that was like the coziest to this week for sure. But outside of that, it was just kind of chilling at home, getting things somewhat ready. I have not retried the bread again. I was just like, I can't do it right now because I just have made like 6 bricks still at this
Oh,
point.
and that
I'm
gets
just like,
frustrating to a point of, like,
yeah.
it's and, oh, you feel like you're wasting the ingredients too, probably,
I
so
know. I'm like, the point of this is to help me like not have to buy expensive things, and all I'm doing is slowly throwing flour into the trash can. So,
oh,
but
yeah.
yeah, just kind of that. I did get for around this time in the real world is kind of the Valentine's Day era almost,
Mhm.
the week of, and I did get really fun like red and pink striped pants, and I hope that they're cute because they're on the
Cute.
way. But they're supposed to be like a cotton linen blend, and I'm excited for them because I want
Nice.
to. It is kind of like the poppy vibes of it. The people who meet on vacation, right? That's what's
Mhm.
called.
Yeah.
Um, I just want like more color in my wardrobe. So I'd say like that's like the most exciting thing I did because I could like sit and look at it because it's like from online, and I was like, I don't have to move or anything. So
Yeah. Yeah.
my
I
excitement
get
was
that.
sitting.
Mm.
Should we get into it and I can eat my chicken?
Yes. Yes, I'm really excited
Me too.
to talk about our theme this week. We've kind of done it before with the
Yeah.
90s mall stores. So this is kind of reminiscent of that. And we'll have some kind of similar themes coming up. I think our one next week is one we've done before, but there's just sometimes so many case files that fall into a theme that we're like, we have to do it again.
Yeah.
So, today we're talking about cozy stores that we miss. RIP to these stores. So, I'm up first with Borders.
I
I
know nothing
know.
about it.
Yeah, I learned a lot. I'm very excited to share. I'll get into kind of like the history of I guess how the store came to be and then a little bit of what made it different than other bookstores, and also how it sadly came to its end. But if you are not familiar with Borders, it is, or it was, sad past tense, was an American book and stationery retailer that was founded in 1971 in Ann Arbor, Michigan, which I thought was kind of fun because that was where my grandma was from, not from, but she lived for a very long time. And so I've actually
Cute.
been to Ann Arbor a lot. Um, and there was two brothers that founded it, and their last name was Borders, so that's like where the name
Mm.
came from. And it was Tom and Lewis. And they were actually students at the University of Michigan, which was kind of cool because my mall store, Delia's, also was kind of started by college students. And I'm just like,
Mm.
I was nowhere near even the concept of a store
Mm-mm.
when I was in college. So good
No.
on them for being able to do that. Um, so they did that for about 4 years, and then in 1975 they bought an out of stock store called Wars. I don't know how to pronounce it. It's like WAHR apostrophe S, so I don't really know what that is, but it's an 80-year-old, it was an 80-year-old bookstore like in the area that sold textbooks and school supplies. And so they bought them out and then hired two other people that had this experience with rare books. So they kind of started specializing in rare books. And I thought this was really cute. And Joy, I think you'll appreciate this. They called it the Charing Cross Bookshop.
Cute. That
I
feels
know,
like
I'm
it's
like,
from a movie.
yeah, just like little British vibes. So I'm
Hmm.
like, oh,
For
love
sure.
it. And so it just kind of became this like cool hangout spot for college students. And then they started kind of playing around with the idea of like creating what they were like thinking of like a superstore. I feel like that started really becoming popular in the early 80s. So in 1985, they opened a second location in Beverly Hills, Michigan, not
I was
California.
like, wow, big
I
big shit
know,
in there.
right? And so even though this one wasn't the original store that the brothers founded, it was like the original quote unquote Borders store. So it
Mm.
was deemed like Borders number one, and they refer to that as the flagship store. So that one was doing really well. Very popular bookstore. And then in 1989, they hired Robert Di Romaldo, I think that's how you say it. And he used to be the president of Hickory Farms.
Oh my word, love.
I know. And so they hired him on to expand Borders. And so their kind of strategy was to target suburban areas, and which kind of went against a lot of other stores' strategy, which were basically focusing on malls at the time. So why I feel like now when we think of stores expanding, we're like, duh, suburbs is like
Yeah.
where it's at. But back then, that was kind of a newer concept in terms of like strategy. So that's one way that I think Borders was really successful from the jump.
So
Um,
Borders, Barnes and Noble, and Books a Million were all competitors then, correct?
mhm, yeah,
Mm.
which I'll get into some of the Barnes and Noble stuff
Da, da,
too.
da.
Um, so they started selling. Another thing that they kind of did well differently is they started a wholesaling business that they called a book inventory system. And so in the late 80s and 90s, this became really big for bookstores. So they were kind of like the pioneers of that. And
Mm.
then in 1992, Borders was acquired by Kmart, another RIP
Uh,
store, which apparently, I guess not in Australia. If we have Australian cozy
ah,
detectives, I
that's
think
awesome.
Kmart. I think, as far as I know, I could be wrong. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I feel like Kmart's still hanging on in Australia. I don't know where I got that from, but I hopefully that's right. Um, but anyways, Kmart had recently acquired another bookstore chain that was more focused in the malls called Walden Books. Actually, it wasn't
Oh,
that recent. It was 8 years before, sorry, but they were really struggling with the book division. So I don't know why Kmart was like, oh, let's buy more books. But I think the
yeah.
brothers kind of were like, oh, well, we don't want to run this anymore. we can like Kmart take over, it'll be fine. But they like stayed on as investors, but they weren't really overseeing things anymore, which that was the start of the end, I feel.
Happened
So
kind of to mine too. I feel like once you start like changing out stuff, it's like,
it's
mm-mm.
always private equity, man. Don't
Right?
do it.
It either goes like with a new owner or a new whatever, it either goes like shoots to the moon or it just crashes and burns.
Yeah, or both. It'll shoot and then immediately like crash
True.
after that. Yeah.
True, true, true.
So they basically merged Walden Books with Borders because they were like, oh, the senior management of Borders, they know what they're doing and they'll help out Walden. Well, most of them quit in the merger. They were like, heck no techno, we're getting out of here. So it was basically this like successful book company, but everyone left and this struggling book company. So it was just like a recipe for disaster. They were essentially always fighting against Barnes and Noble, and they Barnes and Noble really started having this like dominating business model that they kind of kicked off in 1995. Um, but before kind of leading up to then, what did make Borders like stand out, it had a really wide variety of products. I think that
Mm,
Barnes and Noble may have now, but at the time they definitely didn't. So they had like more alternative and educational, informational books and media. So I think that's kind of where they started to stand out. And then I do have a quote from a Reddit user. So again, take this with a grain of salt, but their handle is the Whiskey Rebel. Shout out to you. But their comment on Reddit was that they were a former Borders employee, and they said Borders was absolutely the best in terms of selection. As a staff, we were a crew of ragtag nerds that were always reading. They had a book
no.
lending program so we could take home hardcover books. We built a box fort in the basement and furnished
Cute.
it with old chairs. And the Seattle's best coffee is and was better than Starbucks. Best job ever, TBH. And I just like love the like
Cute.
blanket fort connection with
Yeah.
their box fort. I was like, oh, I hope you're a cozy detective whiskey rebel. That would be so fun.
Amazing.
Let us know if you're out there. Um, and then the Hickory Farms guy is still around, and so he's like trying to make plans to essentially buy themselves back from Kmart and
Oh,
create Borders Group. So like that kind of worked for a little bit. And the highest grossing location in the US was a remodeled and expanded store in Puerto Rico. And they actually generated $17 million in sales annually.
whoa.
So yeah, it was a big deal. And then another successful location was actually located at the World Trade Center,
Oh,
but
wow.
yeah,
Oh,
was
wow.
damaged and then closed
Uh,
due to 9/11. And then they were actually set to open up a 50,000 square foot store in Toronto, but that
mhm.
never came to be because they were failing to meet Canadian ownership regulation for book retailers, which
Oh,
I don't necessarily know like how it's different, but
yeah.
that's obviously a different country and so they have different rules. So that never came to be. And then by 2003, Borders had 1,249 stores between Borders and Walden Books. And then
Mhm.
I mentioned this a little bit with the Reddit comment, but in 2004, they worked with Starbucks' subsidiary, Seattle's Best Coffee. And so that was like their in store cafe and all of the
Mhm.
domestic superstores. So I don't really know the difference between the taste, but according to Whiskey Rebel, it's better than Starbucks, apparently. I don't know. Um, and then in 2008, they opened up 14 what they called concept stores. And basically, these included a digital center, which offered electronic devices like MP3 players,
Oh, I love
digital
it.
photo frames. Do you remember those?
Oh, yeah. I still get those ads on, like, Black Friday. I'm like, I don't
Ye-
want that.
Yeah. And then Sony Reader. So just like reading that list, I was like
Sony
transported back in time.
Wait, what's a Sony Reader? Why can't I think of what that is?
I think if I'm remembering correctly, let me check. I want to say it was like a precursor to like a Kindle. Yeah, it
Ah.
was the early ebook device. It was a
Mm.
pioneer. Yeah.
Okay, got it. Makes
Um,
sense.
and then, of course, Amazon was their biggest downfall. And I never knew this was actually a term, but it makes sense. So they have coined this kind of era of a bunch of brick and mortar stores closing during the 2010s as the retail apocalypse.
My store was part of that too then. I did not know
Yeah.
that.
Yeah. So I
Whoa.
actually, um,
I mean, makes
yeah.
sense. Yeah.
Yeah, because it was kind of like Amazon, it was like kind of like a triple threat. It was Amazon taking over with online shopping,
Yep.
and then the Great Recession, just people weren't shopping
Yep.
in general, and so,
Yep.
like, then any store that really, like, managed to survive, even it was, like, by a thread, COVID kinda took them out, like, the last of a lot of stores because of all the forced
That's true.
shutdowns, so
Yeah.
it was just like, you don't have they don't have any chance, and then I did fact check this, not that we don't always fact check, but, like, this one, I was like, "I wanna test it out for myself." So, if you Google Borders, the first entry is a Barnes& and Noble page that they set up after, like, Borders went out, and it says,
Whoa.
"Barnes& and Noble welcomes Borders, Walden Books, and Barentano's." I guess that was another store and all
Oh,
of their
snap.
customers to discover their next great read at Barnes& and Noble, the nation's largest retail bookseller. And I'm just like, okay, I like Barnes& and Noble, but that just really is like a knife in the heart. They're like, yeah, it sucks for you. Your bookstore died. We're better. Come shop with us.
Oh, yeah. I just Googled my website because I was like, wait a second, what does my website say? Yeah, I'll tell you
Yeah.
when we get there. But
Uh,
oh man, that's crazy.
yeah, really sad. But why I find it cozy, I
Yeah.
think it's to me, it's just one of many stores that I can just, like, close my eyes and picture, and I'm, like, in the '90s, a little
Yeah.
shopping, and also, I didn't mention this with like, electronics center, and I know they weren't the only store to have one, but do you remember the, like, where you could put on headphones and it had the little, like, CD
Yes.
sampler? Oh, so
Yes.
good.
I do remember that.
Um
Sorry. I just took a bite. But
Oh,
yes, I
you're
absolutely
fine.
remember that. Mine was in
So
Barnes& and Noble though.
oh,
That's
yeah,
what I
yeah,
remember.
I
Mhm.
do too. So, I think some of the Borders had them, but it's just I feel like it's one of those of the time, and I think and obviously this is a lot of stores that did survive the retail apocalypse, but, like, Barnes& and Noble, now you go in there and it's so
Oh,
ugly and sad and gray,
yeah.
and I felt like Borders just was really cozy and warm, and
Mhm.
obviously it's a bookstore, I'm gonna love it regardless, but yeah. R.I.P. Borders. I miss you every day.
RIP Borders. I know. I remember I wonder if it was like a very similar to Books a Million. Because I remember when Books a Million closed, that was like a
Mhm.
very similar. I don't know why they're all bees, but maybe because books. But
Yeah, the alliteration.
yeah, should we get into another bee store?
I'm very excited,
I
but
am too.
also sad.
I know. I'm so excited to do this research though. My case file today is Blockbuster. Another RIP.
Classic.
So good, so classic. I remember when the one by my parents' house closed. I was so sad. I was so sad.
Yeah.
And then it sat vacant and I was like hopeful. No. It's like
I
got torn down and
know.
it's I think it's like a car wash or something now. I'm like, boo.
That's
But
sad.
I know. Blockbuster, if you were not around during this era, is basically a store where you walk into it, started with VHSs, founded in 1985 by David Cook. And what you do, you go in, you rent a DVD, or at the time, at first, you rent a VHS, you take it home. And I didn't realize this, you only had it for like 2 days. So I guess new releases were 2 to 3 nights and older titles were 5 to 7 nights. And my brain, I
Yeah.
don't remember being that quick, but you rent it for a day or two, you have to bring it back, or dun dun dun, you get late fees.
Yeah. Do
Dun, dun,
you
dun.
do you have anything about the, please be kind unwind?
Yeah, please be kind, rewind.
Yeah, did I say unwind? I meant
Yeah.
rewind, yeah.
Be Kind Rewind was there. Then and that's what on so at blockbuster.com says, "We are working on rewinding your movie, but while you wait, check out all that Sling TV has to offer."
Not Slee. Oh, no.
I know. Blockbuster.com says if you search it. It is the classic blue and yellow colors though. But and I didn't realize this, but one of the reasons, so there was a few reasons why Blockbuster became very popular. One was because it was the first VHS rental place that, because it was more of a chain and not a mom and pop, they could get a lot of titles. And so I guess that's one of
Mhm,
the reasons, kind of similar to what you were saying. They also created a SKU system that allowed them to have a lot of titles and they could track it where, again, mom and pop places do truly, again, kind of have more of that Stars Hollow movie video type vibe where it's like, okay, take it
mhm.
home, bring it back, just like don't forget. Um, but started in 1985, founded by David Cook, first opened in Dallas, Texas. First store.
What?
I
I
know.
didn't know we had the OG
The
here. Oh,
OG.
that's wow,
I
that's a little special.
little something, something. And then
Hometown store.
right? That store. Yeah, and it's wild too. So in their kind of gonna jump back and forth, but it wouldn't be me if I didn't. But in their like peak, they had over 9,000 stores.
Whoa,
Isn't
that
that
tracks though. They were
crazy?
such a phenomenon, like,
It was
I just
everywhere.
I'm sure you'll get into this of the, like, why you find it's cozy, but, like,
Mhm.
what an elite night when your parents were like, "We can go to a Blockbuster," especially if you had a friend staying over and you could
Uh-huh.
go and pick out your movie. Oh, the
It was
vibes.
I
Elite, elite,
know.
elite, elite, elite.
And I do have one way in which you can get those vibes again, so remind me of that if I don't bring it up.
Oh,
But
I will because I got to know.
but apparently they were also international, so there was according to the interwebs, Japan, Australia, and the UK had some. So
Oh,
Cozy Detectives, if
nice.
you're over there, let us know also about that, and Kmart. Um,
It came out.
and
Wait, do
Kmart.
you think they still have them over
That's my one way. So it's not over there, but there is one.
there?
There's one singular
Okay. The
block
reveal,
left.
the reveal, the reveal.
Um, and so really what happened is it boomed. So it just became super popular. This is like the lore of it, but the first day it opened, they say it was so busy that they had to actually close the doors because they were like there was too many people in the
Oh
store,
my
so they had to
gosh.
kind of like close it down. But another reason they became so popular is because they were open longer. They were more I guess like it worked for them, but they were a little more corporate-y where it was like, okay, this is you know what you're gonna get, you know what you're gonna give back, you
Mhm.
understand what the fees are and all of that jazz. They did have a change in command to Wayne. I'm not gonna say it's even close to right. Huizenga took over. And he was the one that really was like, we have to rapidly expand. So that's when they started adding store and store and store. Like at one point in time, I guess it was like every day they were adding a store,
Oh my gosh.
which is wild to think about. So thousands
If
of
y
stores opened.
I was gonna say,
Mhm.
if you ever worked at a I feel like when places build that
Please.
fast, if you ever worked at one, A, just tell us how that was, but also, like,
Yeah.
the employee training videos, I feel like when they
Oh, the word
onboard
is so
you really
good.
fast, I'm sure they're gonna be super cringe.
So true, so true. So they also so they went back and forth with different things, and it's wild because in pretty much their peak, the very, very, very start of Netflix, they were offered by the Netflix CEOs at the time to buy Netflix because Netflix was in debt. So Netflix was in debt,
Whoa.
almost like went down at $50 million in debt. And so they had a meeting with Blockbuster and after like a while of trying to get a hold of Blockbuster and
Mhm.
Blockbuster was like finally okay, finally we have a meeting with you. And they were like, "Hey, we'll sell Netflix to you. You can do like a this is again towards the end. So again, in their heyday, it was like go in, get the VHS, get the DVD. They did expand to doing like games and things like
Yeah, I was
that.
gonna ask, I feel like I remember seeing games, and then they always had, like, their little movie snack section. Obviously, you didn't rent
Yes.
that, but and then do you
Yes.
wanna explain I don't know if we have that young of cozy detectives, but who don't remember, like, what Netflix started as before it was a streaming service.
Yes. So I kind of work that into the Netflix Blockbuster story of it. So Netflix, again, when first starting, was in so much debt that they offered to Blockbuster. I feel like I'm gonna get these words wrong,
Mhm.
but Netflix offered to Blockbuster, okay, you can buy us for 50 million, and what we'll do is we'll create a like multi-system with you. So what Netflix was doing is it was you ship a DVD like from the Netflix because they didn't have any brick and mortars. So you would order online, or I think it was just online. You would order a DVD and they would ship it to you, and then you would rent it. And their big thing was there was no late fees or anything like that. So you could
Yeah.
rent it for as long as you wanted.
I
And
think
then
I
you
still
send it,
have a couple Netflix DVDs that we just
the
kept.
actual ones, really.
Yeah.
That's so funny. Some of my the reasons I find Blockbuster cozy is because I would do the 4 for 20. You remember that deal where you could buy the DVDs? A
Mhm.
lot of my DVDs have like Blockbuster and stamped in on.
That's so good. I love that.
I know. But so they were like, okay, what we'll do is we'll combine with you. You'll basically buy us out of all of our debt, and you can have the physical store, and then we'll create the online one for you so that people can kind of send it in and do just like that. And Blockbuster at the time was making like billions, I think. Like it was so much money that they were raking in
Yeah.
that they basically like laughed Netflix off and just were like, no,
Oh,
thank you.
wow.
Didn't even
Yeah.
counter an offer, just said no. So
Oh,
Netflix
man.
left and like slowly
Ugh.
ragtagged it, and then like yeah, exactly, like ate up all of the market basically of it.
Yeah, they were like, "Yo, get yours." Oh,
Yep,
man.
yep. Which is wild too, because then Blockbuster did realize like a little like too little too late that they did need to have the like ship-in type of
Yeah.
rental system. So then they tried to do online. And then when Netflix really obviously like hit streaming, that's when it just like blew up and like took off. And
Yeah,
that's
it
what we
was
know it as now.
done
But
so, yeah.
also in the middle there, I don't know if you remember Redbox.
I was gonna ask, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, I feel like it kind of became of, like, a little bit more convenient
Yeah.
than Blockbuster, especially when Blockbuster we still have, a Redbox, I think. I haven't
Really?
checked in a little bit, but I think we still have it, like, at our local Walmart.
Oh, wow. Because I thought that
Yeah.
those closed down too, but basically Redbox was or is, I thought it was a was, but maybe there's still a couple popping up here and there, but it was basically like a kiosk, kind of like a vending
Mhm.
machine, and you could kind of
Yeah.
vending machine the DVDs, and that's how you would rent them that way. And I think just between the two of those and Blockbuster really sticking with like truthfully, I think Blockbusters, there's a couple things that happened, but one of their biggest downfalls was they just didn't see somehow like anything with the internet or streaming or a need to go
Mhm.
online at any capacity coming. Like they were 1985 and they like just blew up out of nowhere. And they're like, okay, everybody's walking into these
Yeah.
stores. Why would we ever do online? And then a second thing that I guess happened, which I wasn't aware of until this, is they had, I guess, back in the day, or maybe now days as well. I don't know. But there was people that would kind of like, for lack of a better term, and this isn't the right term, but I think I'll get there if I use it, like kind of like head hunt places. So like what they would do is they would
Mm.
go and they would like buy themselves on like it's like a group or something. I don't know. It feels very sci-fi, but they would basically like pay the money to get on the board of places, and then they would start to try to like change the rules of stuff. And so like I guess that happened to Blockbuster, where
Yikes.
like a couple of the seats on the board of directors became these people, and the
Mhm.
guy, I don't remember who it was at that point, but whoever was like running it at that point, they're like, okay, well, you just don't get your bonus this year because we need to like have short-term gains. And he was like, it's in my contract. And they're like, no. And so then he quit. And that was like a huge thing. So like at that point, because they started doing the rental type thing as well as the physical
Mhm.
stores, they were really aggressively competing with Netflix. But that kind of for Netflix kind of happened at the perfect time because then they had to get a new CEO and that just kind of didn't work out very well. And so Netflix, that's when Netflix like really, really took off. But it was the early 2000s when it really peaked in all of its popularity. So about 2004, I think, was the pinnacle of the stores. And then
Mhm.
it's wild because by 2010 they filed for bankruptcy.
Wow, that was fast.
And then 2011 they were acquired by Dish Network, but that didn't work. And then basically everything closed except, and this is your one way to still do it, there is one remaining store in
What?
Bent, Oregon.
Oh,
So
I've
if you live in
never heard,
Oregon,
is that, like, close-ish to Portland, or
I have no idea. Sorry, Bent, but let me look it up real quick. But you can go in, you can still buy it, you can, or not buy it, you can still rent things. They have, oh, it looks middle of nowhere from looking it up on the Googles. Let me see.
interesting how that I would have thought it was, like, New York City or something where a lot of
Right?
people would still, like, come by.
So it is really so Seattle, then Portland, Salem, Eugene, and then to the right a little bit is
Mm.
Bent. So it's in their downtown. It looks like a Blockbuster, has the things. The couple that bought it with their kids has been running it forever
Oh,
and they
so
just
it's like
still
a
run
mom
it.
and pop essentially. Okay, I thought it was like
Yeah.
Blockbuster Co. is
But
still
it
running it.
it's still the, like, yeah, it's not like the, yeah. CEO's
Yeah.
not running it or anything, but, like, they still have the Blockbuster sign. You still can get, like, you can buy for $2 on the website, like, a Blockbuster membership card. So,
Cute.
like, they'll do the whole thing.
Wow.
Um, Also at the time when they were, so one of the huge ways that they were making money was obviously late fees, because renting it for, like, 2 to 3 days, like, you'd have to rent it on a Friday and take it back on a
Yeah.
Monday or, like, a
Which is
Sunday at that
interesting
point.
though, because like, I mean, Amazon runs their rental process the same way. You get like 48 hours to watch it and that's it.
Yeah, that's true. I guess I just don't have to, like, they just take it from you. You know what I
Yeah, you
mean?
don't have
Like,
to remember. You're like, oh,
it's
time's up. I didn't
live
finish that.
somewhere. Yeah, yeah. Um, but yeah, it's just wild how much they were making, because that was one of their biggest money makers, was the
Mhm.
rental fees, which was only like a
Wow.
dollar or two depending on what it was for, like a VHS or a DVD. I do also somewhere, unless I've thrown it away. I remember when the Blockbuster closed and the like cardboard, like the little like cardboard paper that they would use if it was like
Mhm.
sold out, they would just like have that there. I remember they had that for sale and I bought a bunch of them. I don't know why.
Oh, I love that.
I
So
hope I
cute.
still have them. I couldn't tell you if I did or not, but it it's just like you could still go and do it, and you, yeah, like I was saying, you can still rent the DVDs and VHSs from there and return it and do the whole thing. So
Wow.
if you live in Oregon, that's your option there. Um, but yeah, really why I find it cozy is all of those reasons. It does feel like the very classic movie night where you go, you walk through the aisles. Like if you weren't around during this time period, I think one of the movies that has the best adaptation, or not adaptation, like viewing of what it is The Holiday.
I knew you were
100%.
gonna say I've been thinking of
100%.
that movie the whole time, and, like,
Right?
I think we talked about I know we definitely did with The Blackberry, but, like, because Nancy doesn't like her movies to be
Yeah.
dated, and it's like
I
but it's
love
so good because
that.
it's how you get back to that
Mhm.
time because it's so good. Do you have, like, a movie that you remember renting a lot?
Ooh, I I wasn't a, like, if I wanted it, I would get it on DVD and just, like, that's how I
Mhm.
would rent it because they were kind of expensive.
Yeah.
Um, but I would do the 4 for 20 was kind of my big thing, and either, like, my mom would get 2, I would get 2, or I would just get the 4 and then I'd have, like, 1 per week that I would watch,
Mhm.
because sometimes even renting it was, like, $5, so it's like,
Yeah.
or I could just have it and own it, but you would always get, like, the older movies that way. But
Yeah.
did you have one that you would go back and re-rent?
Um Yeah, I this is how I watched a lot of the Mary-Kate and Ashley movies,
Oh,
was
fun.
through Blockbuster. One there's 2 actually, which I'm like one we have now and we'll watch occasionally 'cause it's so cheesy, but it's so funny, is Big Fat Liar.
Oh, Amanda Bynes?
Yeah, I definitely wanna do a case file on that with Paul Giamatti, like, this iconic actor, and
That's
he's just
so
like this
funny.
kids movie villain. And then one I have not rewatched since I was a kid, but we would rent it a few times, was Max Keebler's Big Move.
Oh my word, I haven't thought of that movie in
Yeah,
forever.
yeah, I don't know why, we just thought both of those were, like, so funny, so if we needed a good laugh, I feel like we would rent those, and then just, like I mean, classic, like, Lizzie McGuire movie or
Yeah. 'Cause they would
Freaky
have new
Friday and stuff.
releases, and
Yeah.
so that was wild too. So if you look up the last Blockbuster and, like, on their page, it has new releases, and it's, like, they are new releases, and I'm just like,
Wow.
you guys are still buying DVDs? Like, this
Oh,
is crazy.
yeah. So good.
Yeah. I never got the
But
candy, but I do remember.
yeah, I didn't either. Because again, why don't get candy in the movie theater? It's so
Yeah,
expensive.
yeah. Um, this is very on brand for me, but the, sci-fi original Stargate SG-1,
Oh
they
my gosh.
had they had Blockbuster exclusive, um, uh, magazines that would come out.
Wow.
I
That's so
know.
cool.
That I think is my biggest thing because that was the only place you could get them was Blockbuster,
Yeah.
and so I remember it was like 1 a month or something. I only got a
Oh
couple of
my
them,
gosh.
but I still have those magazines somewhere at my
That's so
parents' house
cool.
for sure. Big
Love
star.
that.
Yeah, because also so that's another thing actually kind of harkening back. I feel like I'm like fading into the dark over here.
No,
Um,
you're good.
Harkening back to the beginning of the episode when you were talking about the magazine cutouts, I would want to do that, but I'd never want to hurt my magazine. And so what I
Yeah.
would do is I would get one magazine to like keep and never
Oh, I
touch.
think I remember you telling me that in the magazine episode. Yeah.
Yeah.
So cute.
So I did that with the
I
Stargate ones
love
too,
it.
because they also had those little like centerfold like little like
But honestly,
posters.
like, those are collector's items now, like, that's so cool.
I know. So I think I should have both copies, one kind of cut up and the other one just like chilling there. But that was like my
Hey,
biggest thing I
that's
remember from
probably
Blockbuster.
honestly your retirement fund now. Forget the Beanie Babies. These Blockbuster magazines are probably worth a lot more.
I know. It also makes me so happy if I'm at a thrift store and I'm looking for a DVD and it has that I like look for it
Yeah.
to see if it
Aw.
has that imprint of Blockbuster on it. Just
Yeah.
like just a little bit something special. Or if it has like one of the stickers on the front, which used to bug me. And I'd always be like, get the sticker off. And now I'm like, no, it's like
Put
a
the sticker
nostalgia.
on.
Yeah, keep it on.
Yeah.
But I loved it. It was such a good time. So sad to see
Yeah,
it go.
truly.
And I never worked at like a Blockbuster. I did work at a movie theater as like a
Yeah.
teenager. It's like that's another one of those like core teenage jobs. So
Yeah.
I am grateful for that. But
Love that.
that's Blockbuster. It
I
was
know,
so
I
fun to do the
feel
research. I missed it.
I don't know if nostalgia is really enough to, like, sustain a business model now, but I feel like at least they should do, like, a pop-up shop of, like, kinda
Yeah.
spread out through and it could be in a few cities, but, like, you can go for a weekend, get
Yeah.
a just for like, nostalgia. I think that would be so
Mhm.
fun.
Every once in like, when I was trying to look it up on, like, social media, there's a couple people that I think try to do that. Like, I've seen people do, like, their
Mm,
own version of a pop-up, but
yeah,
not, like, I don't even know what you do if it's, like, Blockbuster has
doesn't exist. Yeah.
yeah, exactly, like, how do you do that? Or can you say Blockbuster? Or can you have to call it, like, Blookbuster or something? But I don't know, but they
Blockbuster.
should. I don't know. They should, though.
That's what we're gonna do. We're gonna have a side this, podcast is already a side project, but we're gonna have a side project called Blookbuster.
Blue pasta. Oh, so funny.
Oh,
Okay,
love
what's your
it.
2%? Because I've
Oh,
talked. I'm gonna take a sip of my
oh, you're
kombucha.
good. Yeah, rest your throat. So it was kind of not funny because I always hate being on my period, but remember last time I was like, "I think it's coming because 'cause I'm crying at these upbeat songs." Well,
Oh
surprise, it's here.
that's so funny. I did that this month too. I just started crying as if I was like, I feel it.
Yeah.
Oh my
So,
gosh.
I did an intentional 2%. I went grocery
Mm,
shopping, yesterday, and I was like, "Okay, I'm gonna want, like, chocolate, obviously,"
yeah.
and I had, like, previously I don't remember how it came up, but Jacqueline and I were talking or watching something, and I was like, "Oh, I wanna bake cookies, but I didn't have all the ingredients." And I was like, "I'm gonna be too tired to
Yeah.
bake cookies this week." Like, I get home from work, I don't wanna bake. So, I don't usually do this, but I got, like, the Nestlé Toutlaus.
This is why you're there.
Yeah, and I got their, like, take and bake cookies, so I don't actually have to do
Oh.
the baking, I can just pop them in the oven, and I'm like, "You know what? That's
Yep.
fine." And sometimes it's hard
Work.
for me because 'cause I'm like, "No, but they need to be homemade." But I'm like, "No, it's chocolate, that's all I need right now."
Love it. Did you just get like the classic chocolate
Yeah.
chip?
Mhm.
Nice. That's a good choice. That's a good
Yeah.
choice.
What
Love
about
it.
you?
I did an intentional one as well, but it was more like I could feel the sicky coming on, like, when you're
Mhm.
like, "Oh." And so Actually, it's like twofold. So I had some time to walk around because I just like had nowhere to be for like an hour and a half. And I was like, okay, I'm just gonna
Yeah.
take a moment. I had a 5 off of 10 coupon for World Market. So I walked
Ooh,
around at World Market. Oh, and actually I should ask you this too, because I don't know what the thing should be. So I got some yummy chocolates, which again is part of my
ooh,
2% because
fun.
the
Oh, ours
actual
are kinda related.
right? The actual 2% was that I got my chocolates, I made my, like, vitamin C tea, and I took it and I just sat in bed and I just had, like, my little yummy chocolates and my tea, and I, like, very
Cute.
purposely was like, "I just want to be cozy in me bed." Like, I felt like a little
Yeah.
hobbit, just, like, tucking in. Uh,
Oh, that's
so that's,
nice.
like, the actual 2%, but the other thing that I did get because I was like, "I don't just get $10 of chocolate," you know? Like, I gotta get something
Oh,
else.
yeah.
Um I got this glass bottle that I want to use for syrup because I want
Ooh.
to like I've tried it a few times. I don't really fully have it on lock. Cozy Detectives, if you have a Breville, I'm deciding if I want to maybe do that for like an espresso machine. I know it's a
Mhm.
very popular one, but I'm like, okay, is it good? Should I figure that one out? I don't know. But I would like to have like fun little syrups and things. And
Yeah.
so I had nowhere to put them. So I did buy that glass bottle, but I'm trying to decide. I'm thinking spring because again, I'm just like, I want this gone. I'm over the winters of it all. But I don't know if I should do like a lavender or maybe like a strawberry something.
Ooh.
Because also
Like, for
like
your
some,
coffee and stuff?
yeah, or like a matcha. Like I love the
Mhm.
look of like the strawberry bottom and then the matcha. So I'm like,
Yeah.
I don't know. But do you have a
Hmm.
favorite syrup that you've made?
Um, oh, that I made? Yes. Although I really like the Torani syrups. I
Oh yeah,
get
yeah,
my like every day is the like sugar-free classic hazelnut elite every that's like my daily.
yeah.
Um, like homemade. I did do a lavender one recently because I made a lavender London fog latte that was really good. Um it wasn't like a super pungenty lavender because sometimes I like lavender, but sometimes if you can go a little too hard on it, and I'm
Yeah,
like, "This
I
is a flower."
agree. Oh, totally, yeah, totally.
I like making little herby ones for, like, cocktails, so I love a
Mm,
sage one or a rosemary one, but I don't know if that would necessarily translate well to coffee. Maybe
yeah,
tea it would, but yeah.
yeah, I'm trying to figure that out because I think what it is okay, this is such a side tangent, but, um, before the Cozy Detective 2%, but,
Yes.
I've been seeing a lot of, like, very cute coffee areas, and I think that that's one of those things that I'm wanting to do, but I saw another thing, and
Do you
I'll have
mean
to
like a at-home coffee
yeah,
corner
like
or
a
coffee
coffee
bar? Oh, okay.
yeah.
You said coffee area, and I was like, "Oh, is that what we're calling coffee shops now? Coffee areas?" I was like, "I
Coffee
am not hip
Aria.
I'm not hip on the lingo."
No, me neither. Me neither. No, but like a cute, like, coffee bar, but
Okay, got
the
it.
one I'm kind of waiting for, like, a sale on it for
Yeah.
Revel for something. Um,
And that is remind me, I've, like, heard that term, but I don't do the
it's
fancy coffee equipment, so
yeah, you're good. You're totally good. It's a brand for an espresso machine.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so I've seen just different types of it. I've seen one where it doesn't have like a screen. Now the screen one seems easier, a little more user friendly to use. Because my hardest thing here is with altitude, it messes with all of
Yeah,
the
like
beans and
pre-settings.
exactly. And so
Yeah.
like you could pull like a very like yucky shot if you're not careful, and I don't want to waste beans. So I like the idea of it being a little bit less like I have to figure it out with the altitude and the barometric pressure type of deal. um because that's the one I have now, and I'm like, I don't know if I'm gonna keep that one or not. But the thing I saw is that this one girl was saying that she has a note on her phone, and if there's something that's under $100, she keeps it on there for I think she said a couple days before she like pulled the trigger on buying it. And if it's over 100, she keeps it on there for like a week plus. I think that's kind of like what I'm doing right now with certain things that I'm wanting, but I feel like the Breville's been on there for a hot minute, so I'm like, but I just don't because I've never tried one. I don't know, and I don't know. Maybe that'll be one
Yeah.
of my 2%. So I'll just go to like Crate and Barrel and just walk around and be like, "Someone explain, please." But
Yeah.
anyway, that was a
I
side tangent.
No, I like the little I've seen the, like, helping with impulse buying of, like, okay,
Yeah,
you can, like, put in your cart, but you can't check it out after a certain time just to, like,
'Cause you're like, "Do I really need
get
this?"
the impulse out, yeah.
Yeah,
And I
yeah.
have seen I don't know her account or anything. I've gotten her a few times where she has this, like, flow chart of something, like, when you see something and it, like, goes through a bunch of, like, yes, no questions, and it's like, "Well, is this something I need? Is this something I will use, like, daily? Is this something that will" like, I know she's
Oh, I
really
like
thorough,
that.
and I'm like,
Yeah.
I think that can help too if you, like, have a spending problem of, like, practicality versus just like, "Oh, it's cute and pretty, I want it."
Yeah,
Not that,
yeah.
like, it's not necessarily a problem to, like, buy those fun little cozy happy things, but it's also like, "Okay,
Yeah, you're
I
spending on your
don't need
budget,
to
yeah.
accumulate." In the words of
Yeah.
Mrs. Kim, people have too much stuff.
Honestly, facts.
Yeah.
So what's our cozy detective 2%?
Yeah, I've got one today. This is from Pramani. She's been catching up on the pit and heated rivalry during the winter storm. She said, "I'm catching up with the rest of the world."
I have no idea what
Uh,
that is.
they're both TV shows. I
Oh.
The Pit
Oh, The
is
Pit. I know that
yeah,
one, the medical
that
one.
one,
Yeah.
yeah, I do wanna watch that one. I did watch ER some, um, in the '90s, speaking of this episode, but I also, like, got a bunch of the DVDs from Half Price Books and watched a lot of them in
Fun.
college. But anyways, it has the main actor, from that. I don't know if it's the main one because the
Mm.
main one's probably George Clooney, but one of the main ones.
Another random fun fact is part of his apartment is WB Studios. So when you do the WB
Oh,
tour guide, you get
yeah.
you
Oh,
kind
yeah,
of still
because I
feel like
think yeah, I think Valerie she had talked about, like, "Oh, we shared this with ER," and, like, I
yeah,
think she's
yeah.
talked about that before. Yeah,
Wild.
so, uh, not
Cool.
necessarily a cozy show, but, you know.
But depending, you know,
Yeah,
depending on who you
but
are.
I
That's
think
funny.
I really wanna see the pit just because I think it's a cool concept. Because basically I think from what I understand, every episode is, like, an real time, like, hour on one shift working in the ER.
That's cool.
Yeah.
That's cool. I've watched, Dr. Mike watch that. I don't know, I just watch people watch stuff. Sometimes if it's too scary or I'm not sure, I'll just watch somebody else.
Yeah, here you go. That's funny. I
That's my
love it.
loophole. Well, thank you for
Aw.
listening. Be sure to follow us on Instagram and YouTube at Blanket Fort Files Pod. Send us your 2% cozier. Please subscribe wherever you listen to your podcast and join us next week in the Blanket Fort, where we'll discuss the coziness of more PBS shows.
More nostalgia, please.